In today's video, we're looking at the Corvo commercial freighter. Now this is an amazing creation available on the Steam Workshop by the creator Mythraw, and I have to say this is certainly something spectacular. We've got a hybrid here of both large and small ship blocks, so we're going to start the tour by having a look around the exterior, then we'll jump into the interior and take it for a test flight. So there's a lot of different details going on here. We're going to start up towards the front of the ship around the cockpit area. So surrounding this cockpit area, you'll see this is created from a large ship. We actually have a small ship sort of housing or protective area. We'll turn on our spotlight so we can get a little bit of a better detail. So you can see that this protective housing covers and wraps around the top of the cockpit without limiting too much visibility. Now this offers a bit of protection from, I'm guessing, incoming asteroid impacts, so very cool indeed. So as we come along the side here, this is mirrored symmetrical on both sides, and we've got two large slabs of small ship armor. Now, these large ship pieces of armor here have been angled, you can see, with a hinge onto this position, so it adds a nice detail, a nice detailed slope that you can see from this angle up here. Coming towards the front, we've actually got a wheel, missing the wheel block, some detailed areas that have been used from, I think, one of the processing modules on the side of the refinery, and down here, something I've never seen before, but it looks like some sort of pulse weapon. This is actually a medical sort of examination bay with a spotlight behind it. So behind it like that, with that sort of configuration, it actually looks like some sort of weapon or some sort of detailed system. So something really cool there. Now coming down below, we actually have a weapons core weapon down here, and underneath we've got this large thruster housing. Very cool indeed. Down in this detail section, we've got ourselves some exhaust to emit some things, as well as various different access panels as you'd expect on the underbelly of such a vessel. Now, if not to complicate the ship even more, you can see there is barrel storage on the side, giving it that real industrial freighter type look. And the thrusters have also been tilted here on the inside. So let's have a look how this has been set up. So this is two hinges to get this correct angle, and this will help it assist when it comes into landing. Very nice indeed. So let's wrap around the top. You can see that lots of blocks have been used here in positions that you wouldn't expect. So to create that little extra detail, a contracts block has been placed into that segment, and on the tip of the wings we've got these hydrogen thrusters combined with barrels. Very cool, very nice use of blocks that I've not seen in this combination before. So on the top of the wing you can see the Corvo, and you can also see a radar dish rotating up here, and a little bit of an emblem there as well. Coming into this section, we've got some solar panels integrated into this large panel, as well as some access hatches here. Now, is there anything behind these access hatches? Let's find out. So no, nothing behind the access hatches, but they do look pretty cool. It looks like they could access some sort of system on the wings. Now coming back a little bit further forward, or well, further back could say, we've got these ney sort of cell thrusters that have also been angled. So if you're lagging a lot, then this ship is probably not for you with all these subgrids mounted to it. So around the back we've got these wingtip subgrids, very cool, and then we've got the thrusters that have been housed, I'm guessing on a hinge within this segment of the ship here. So no, it's all integrated into that wing design. Very, very cool. A lot of weight up into the area. And these frames have been created this sort of X strengthening pattern on the side. Now coming around the front of the thruster, it's not actually a thruster, it's actually a giant light. So these are light panels that have been created on here. But I really like that housing that's been formed around this area. It looks like a totally new thruster to the game. There's obviously some heat vents here in this area. We'll see if they light up shortly after. And more use of blocks that you don't expect to see on the outside of a ship. So some more bed bays there. Now working our way back further into the center of the ship, you'll notice that they've got these really cool little tucked thruster houses, glowing orange, and they've got a little vent there in the top. So let's just zoom out and have a little bit of a better perspective. So there's lots of like little sub wing areas in this section, as well as detailing panels with ribs and ventilation for the cooling of the engines. Now coming to the back, we have an absolutely beautiful engine sort of cell configuration. First off, we've got these wingtips that extend out over the top of the engine bay cells, two iron thrusters there, we've got two smaller ones and a large central one, and more use of some newer exciting blocks there as well. Coming down the back, we've got some wheel blocks to create the detailing, and we've actually got a sort of cargo walkway under here, underneath the hydrogen tanks, and access up into the belly of the cargo ship. Down here below, for carrying more cargo, there is a piston activated either landing gear, or it could also be used to carry resources if you wanted to. Coming along the side here, there's these little blocks that are housing these thrusters. So very nice. Lots of really great detail has gone onto the external design of this ship. From front to back, you can see it's got the H1. It's actually got a separate name here on this side as well. This is the manufacturer's name of the ship, perhaps. Some nice detail using a window block there in the center and some hatch covers up in this area as well. And I almost missed it, but there is this little turret here that can rotate and engage targets up there as well. So a very cool design from the exterior. Let's jump inside and let's see what the interior has to offer. Now, to enter this ship, I'm going to enter through the rear here. So there's like a little loading hatch with stairs that lower down there as well. And if we go inside using the spectator camera to avoid climbing the stairs and try not to get you too dizzy, we actually enter into the rear area of the ship that's storing the hydrogen tanks. In this area there's another access way down, and we've got computer and reactor systems. I'll turn off my spotlight so you can just get a sense of the ambience. So as we enter here through this rear airlock, we're now in a pressurized area, and we have two routes. Now this is using a lot of the decorative pack DLCs, and something I've said before is the decorative pack DLCs can really bring an interior to life in Space Engineers, because it's one of the most difficult things to do in interior. The outside of the ship can be created really nicely, but trying to build an interior into the shape that you made can be difficult. So we've got some barrels above these sort of areas here, all very industrial. It's almost like a Star Citizen ship that's been brought to Space Engineers. A medical bay. There's quite a lot of these medical station examination tables on the ship, if you include the outer ones as well. It's got a little window there that is tinted. Very cool indeed. We've got a fish tank up there. I didn't spot that when I did the initial tour. We've got some storage up in this area. Very nice indeed. So continuing forward, we're in the belly of the beast now, and we've got like this little area where we've got a sort of crew quarters over here, using lots of the decorative blocks, really bringing the interior alive. Coming over here, you've got a little storage area for some additional storage. See the fish tank up there, more racks. You've got this little seating area that has this lovely vivarium on the side there with like a mini tree and stuff. Too bad they've not got like a lizard or something living in there. That would be fun. Now coming into this area, we've got like a bar, and I'm guessing what's the dining area of the crew. And this ship's kind of been created with a small crew in mind, because if you're transporting freight across a large area, the focus is getting the cargo across. So there's a little area up here as well for sleeping and observation, with that area over there. And down here we've got towards the front of the bridge, so we've got some more controls. These are turret control modules either side. We've got this little arch. Now this is where the hybrid of large and small grids is integrated together as well. You can see we've got that small grid in this area that's creating all this detailed in this cockpit with various different access panels and these little areas around this cockpit, just bringing this area to life, giving it a bit more detail than a standard cockpit would have. You've got some holographic displays up there as well. So let's activate our jetpack in this area, and let's see which one of these is the control seat. So we have got this one over here. This AI computer is not owned. Take ownership of the grid. So that's the first thing we'll do. Let's make sure everything on this grid belongs to me. Lovely. Okay, so we've got some various different systems here as well. So we've got the external thrusters on and off at the bottom for if we do come into land. We have our ion thrusters that we can turn on. We've got our weapons that we can interact with. So we've got a Gatling gun underneath there. Let's try and interact with that again. So we've activated to mouse click. Is that all it had in the ammunition? So with the amount of subgrids on here, it's quite a tough gyroscopic turning from left to right there. So maneuverability of this freighter isn't great, but I'm guessing a freighter wouldn't have great maneuverability. You have to tell me in the comment section if you agree with that. But yeah, it's not going to be outrunning any law enforcement, this ship, at all. Let's have a little bit of a Q&A. Okay, nothing too much. Acceleration test. Acceleration is pretty good. So if you held a good acceleration like this, you'd be up to speed quite quickly. It's just turning with them gyroscopes who require a lot of mouse movement, as you can probably hear. Let's check our stopping speed. So stopping speed is quite slow. We've not got too many thrusters to the front. If we activate our ion, does that assist us? Or sorry, hydrogen, does that assist us in any way? No, just landing. So let's have a look at our other systems here. So we've got the turret controller, we've got the gear extended and landing plates. So let's extend our gears and just have a look. Hopefully they don't rip off as they come down. So we've got a main central gear that we had a look at the back, and then we've got a smaller gear at the front. It's interesting, only 2 gears supporting this ship. I'd expect maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe some out to the wider extent, so it didn't just simply rock over. But still pretty cool. Let's retract that in. Okay, retract that in. And let's take this down to a planet to test out. Okay, so we've just initiated sort of re-entry here. The gyroscopes are struggling to activate. I'm going to activate our hydrogen thrusters underneath here. So our large hydrogen thrusters are actually on. I don't know if them systems will start to kick into effect. Do I need to reverse thrust of some kind? So hydrogen thrusters are trying to slow us down. The larger ones are not activating. Am I going to have to activate them manually? Let's double check. So it's not seeming like these systems are going to activate. I'm going to have to see if I can activate these in some sort of manual capacity. Let's check this seat. I'm coming in for a bit of a panic here. I think we're going to collide. Can we override thrust in time? No, we did not. So the thrusters don't activate automatically. Let's... Oh my god, this damage is not going to be good, is it? Oh, let's have a look what's left of us. Yeah, it was quite a high-speed collision. I'll have to check the statistics of this ship out. Yeah, we've kind of merged and the subgrids have come off. At least it crashes nicely. I mean, there's a bit of clang involved there. But it does look like it would come apart. A bit of phasing going on with them sub and small grids as well. Classic space engineers. So there we go. A lovely little tour of a beautiful ship from the Steam Workshop. There will be links down in the description below. Check it out for yourself and make sure you support the creator.